Hi friends, happy to see you back. I think we've taken a little bit short break because I was traveling in different destination. I think you people all miss me. And again, I am come back on the pandemic heroes. We are bringing one more wonderful lady all the way from Caribbean, Trinidad and Tobago. We got GAIL Singh this today, and she's going to share about her experience and how she was being grown up, and she was a dynamic lady. So you can also listen from her. Before I invite her, so you can always see her photographs. So before I invite her, so I just want to give a short brief about her. Then we'll ask her to come to our program. Okay, I'm just taking her profile right now. This is about GAIL Singh. She been part of TIFA. It is in Trinidad and Tobago Association of Insurance and Financial Advisor, and she also part of MDRT. And her parent company is Guardian Group, and she has been associated with GMS, Associated International Private Limited. So just about, she's a certified chartered accountant and project management professional, and she also excellent GAIL operated field auditing, accounts and finance over 30 years. She had vast experience to do that. And she's been with MDRT for so long. She has been MDRT from since 2011. She had completed almost 11 years, and she's been a life member. But she has a passion to take a lot of leadership roles, and she has been communicating, been so much roles you can able to see in the profile. So she been part of membership communications. She been part of MDRT company chair and Guardian Life. She worked for the company chair. And then she become a country chair for Trinidad and Tobago for 2017 to 2019, and she became an MDRT Jones chair for Caribbean for 2019 to 2021. So she was been always with a leadership role, and she been developed so much of advisors over there into Caribbean. So having her to she talk about her own companies, like she achieved a lot of things in her own company. Into you can always see her Guardian Life. She been with so much of achievements. She made it on that. She been with them for like chairman circle, and she been student of 2000 year and top producer. And still now, I think she has to launch responsibility she holding, and she delivering into that company. And which liked in this profile is that she means GAIL supports more charities privately in our own country as well as MDRT Foundation. She always been for something she helped society. So that we'll ask her about that thing when she come about the program. So apart from that, she has having a many milestone lives to be in developing so much of MDRT qualifiers. That is the idea behind. So we need a heroes to know about their profiles, and she one of the person create a member. So we want to listen from her. And just want to take her achievements. So she still one page of achievements, and she made it. So you just been able to watch it. She was being double runner-up into Guardian Life, like China, Europe, South Africa, Vietnam, Cambodia, Australia, New Zealand. I think around the corner she would have traveled it. And she was been likely put it on that she was been MDRT for several areas we have been completed. And also she got awarded for Chairman Diamond Club Award. She got it for 150 lives in 2015, 11 to 15, and 2016 again she got it 150 lives, and 2018 till now I think somehow some of the awards she's getting with that. So thank you so much, and watching her profile. Now time for our hero to introduce, and I'm happy to welcome GAIL Singh to our program. Hi GAIL.
Hi Sakti, how are you?
Nice, happy to welcome my office, and I think we hope enjoy my office right now.
Thank you so much. My pleasure to be with you.
Thank you so much. And I see when I see your photographs, I see something that the leadership in the bond itself. So you want to take some leadership quality always with you. I think in your profiles talk about that, and you've been vast experience in the last 30 years into financial auditings and other things. So tell me how the situation into Caribbeans and Trinidad and Tobago, how you are feeling last 2 years. And I think, you have a lot of meetings and other things in this between. You've given our time for our program. That's wonderful. It will motivate a lot of members watching this.
I am happy to be able to share MDRT teaches that we have choices. And one thing that I like about being on programs like these is that we touch people and make them understand that they are not the only persons that are having the same experiences like we are, or they have colleagues that can share. The last 2 years, Sakti, has been a challenge for everyone. COVID came, and with it, a lot of challenges, a lot of upheavals. Clients were very scared. We were thrown into a different norm in terms of just exactly how we're doing it here. We no longer do many in-person meetings. We do meet them if need be. However, everything, the business, the face of the insurance and financial advisory business has changed in that we do everything in Trinidad and the Caribbean, like you guys, online. We have e-application process. We've made it very easy and very safe for clients to be able to conduct business in the normal way, but not normal way, because you have to be flexible. You have to be client care oriented. And so what we found in the Caribbean and in Trinidad in particular is that our clients didn't leave us. They kept persevering with us. They actually allowed us to work with them. There has been a certain market that would have lost jobs. They may have got cuts in their pay. However, Guardian Life, that's my company, along with all the other companies in the Caribbean, ramped up their service in that they were able to give moratorium on premiums, meaning they give them extensions, they work payment plans. And so what you found happening is a lot of persons kept their policies, they kept their coverages, and that is the goal. We wanted to retain our market and retain our book of business. More importantly, clients saw the humane touch. And for many years, I would say in the Caribbean and in Trinidad in particular, clients would have had a stigma to the insurance industry. So much so that they would feel uncomfortable unless the advisor develops a really good relationship with them and get them comfortable to talk and to sit down and to look at their needs, to look at a budget, and to ensure that goals are set and we take everything into consideration. But to get to that point with a client in the Caribbean, it's a little bit difficult because of what used to be happening in the past and olden days. We new advisors, I think we are a new regime and we are seeking to change everything that has been happening before. So even though I may have been qualifying MDRT 10 years and it has been a little trial, but notwithstanding, you get in touch with clients and you be very honest and you get them to listen, so that business has been a little bit better, I would say, rather than less, because if you, as even with MDRT, our colleagues, you know, through COVID, some persons did even better than they ever did before in the business. And that is exactly what happened to some of us in the Caribbean. And we were thankful for COVID in such a way that we found a new norm. We found a way to better do business efficiently. So everything is online. And if you wish, we still do allow clients to come in person and engage, because there's some market, a part of the market, they don't really appreciate online or electronic services. And so I would say, for all intents and purposes, we've been continuing doing a very good job, and the business, the companies have supported us, both clients and advisors, in getting our jobs done.
Wonderful, wonderful for that, actually. The way you talk about that, the confidence you gained for last 2-3 years, right? So whatever difficult to adapt the systems like Zooms and we do, right? And
yeah.
So just before moving this, the Q&A, which is like to want to ask you for a journey. Sure. You've been with 30 years on this financial line, right? What motivates and what keep going? And I just see your photographs like so energetic. Somebody watched that, and the way of dressings and everything, and keep representing for you as how the way the insurance advisors must do the dressings and the appearance should take place, right? So I should appreciate for that. So what motivates to keep going every day?
Santi, that's a nice question. And you really zoned into appearance, your image. This business and the financial arena, I have been a chartered accountant, as you would have read, for many, many years. And even from those years before getting into financial advisory in the truest sense, marrying my accounting practice with risk management and insurance products or solutions, I've always had a great respect for those persons who can look at a balance sheet and tell so much about a company, tell so much about a person and where the company is going, looking at the history and what really drives that company. That is why I really got into accounting. Now, just to let you know, I was brought up by my grandmother, and it was a very difficult time. I had not my parents with me. And so a lot of my values would have been coming from her. I would have seen her maybe as a business person and an accountant in her own way for many years. We started off, imagine, we did gardening, and I was in primary school, and I would, as soon as school is finished, I race across to the garden, and she and so I saw her toil and I saw her count money. I saw her put things in place. And that is where I would have gotten that sort of respect for money management, and the importance of teaching it to others. Eventually, she started a mini mart because the land was no longer rented to us. And that again compounded my appreciation from a very young age to have a proper accounting record. Now, she would have had just a little book and a pen, and she will have salespeople coming in. And from a background, I would be observing. And then, of course, I would have had to help. So I would do sales, and the relationship building that is so important in this business. I recognize now she had been doing that all along, because when her clients or customers come in, it's the same thing. I did not want at a very early age to get into medicine. And now in Trinidad or even in the Caribbean, there are 3 professions when you're growing up that we need to look at. One is medicine. Everybody wants to be a doctor in those years. But not everybody could be a doctor. I told her clearly, I do not wish that. I cannot see blood. I will not be able to handle anything. So that was out. My real burn, Shakti, was to be a lawyer. And I was excelling in school. I did everything. My teachers would have recommended it because I did fantastic at debates. However, when I raced home and I told my mom who I wasn't living with, she said, no, you're not going to be doing law, because in those days, they thought only criminal law. So they felt that I would have done, defended a criminal and then they come back. So the default is accountant. However, I felt that when I started accounting studies, there was something that God may have been showing me, because ACCA was difficult for most of my colleagues to pass. And here I was passing the exams, everyone, and getting very distinctions and high marks. So I figured maybe that's what the universe is telling me to do. But Sakti, I hated it. I did not like it. I hated it with a passion. However, I was very good at it because, as I said, from a young child, I grew up in business and everything. What did I not like about accounting? It was, for me, boring, sitting down, you don't see clients, but you do analysis with that really got me going. When you do analysis of the accounts and you're able to deliver, to clients how best they can help themselves and grow their business. When I was presented with this opportunity to marry my accounting practice with the risk management, I said, okay, that seems to be logical, because I can do more for my clients and have an entire one-stop shop. You have accounting, you have business profile, you have the risk management, insurance, the advisory. And very soon, after 3 months of the business, I fell in love with financial advisory. I fell in love with our business. because I really felt that I was making a difference in people's lives. And at the same time, achieving my goal and changing my life, because our business offers a lot of compensation. We have good lifestyle if we do it right. And if we do success MDRT, once you're MDRT in my country, you have a very good income. And that's what it's all about. So what motivates me at this time is continuing. So when I started in 2011, soon after I would have given away, I had trained 3 girls. In fact, 5, but there were 3 who got qualified in ACCA. So they got my clients for accounting purposes, but I held on to them just to do insurance and financial advisory. So in those days, my burn would have been clients. And coming over the years, when I was appointed manager in 2019, I have a renewed vigor. It's no longer about clients, but it's really about me duplicating myself and encouraging my new strategic alliance partners, who are the advisors in my team, to do work the way you would like it done for you. So that is the most important thing. I am motivated to help clients and to help my advisors to do the right thing and to achieve their goals. That's basically where I am now, and I'm excited about it. Wonderful.
And I'm the first. You are the first person I'm just saying in fall in love with life insurance. And most of them would have. They have to adapt that. That's what you are so positive, Nas. So they have to adapt.
Yeah.
So I think so much of experience on you, right? So being at auditing and come to the professional, you know how to manage the team. And there was a number of experience into taking leadership positions, like being a company chair, being with Jones sir. So what does make you to take these responsibilities?
It's linked to what I said before. In life, Sakti, we have choices. We can decide to be a one alone person. We can decide to remain an advisor for the rest of our lives, see about our clients, and make our money. We have that route. But you come to a crossroad at some point in time in life, in this business. And at that point, you decide, what makes me happy? What drives me to wake up in the morning and get going? Is it really only money? Because at one point you reach, it's not about money alone. It's no longer about you. Achieved as you would have seen. And when I look around, I see so much poverty. That's where I came from. And what drives me is to be able to help lead these people who may not have the education, they may not have the experience that I would have had, but it gives me a real sense of joy and satisfaction to see somebody come into my unit at a level and with training, with our camaraderie, with our sales builders, grow into this beautiful person. And as we say it in our unit, we want to be able to help them to become the best versions of themselves. And that is my drive. I love leadership because it gives me a sense of understanding how I can grow. Because when I do sessions with my SAPs, they give me feedback, I give them feedback, and then I get nuggets out of them to know how best to treat with a situation with another advisor that might, you know, you can tweak it and know that you're getting better value and better results. So that's basically why I love to lead. I love to lead because I know where I came from. I made certain choices in life to never remain there and never go back there. And so I help others with the same situation.
Great. And my next questions will be, definitely you would have learned a lot of things, right, to provide. What kind of learnings you used to do, and will that be helpful? You can able to suggest the members that what kind of learnings they must do, or not only in your country, be the global forum, like you've been part of global, like in the MDRT and the different part of the organizations. This is must, the advisors must learn. These are the things they must learn. So what are the things you can able to advise?
There are fundamental learnings and experiences that I would have had, some good, some bad, some indifferent. And to share exactly what is required, I think MDRT hits it a nail on its head. You have your practice, you have tools that's generally given. So that's your track. However, you have whole person concept as well. And I feel strongly that whole person concept is important in the circle of life and in everything that you do. You have a plan, you have goals first, you have your plan that takes you there, and you have strategies. But somehow, not only advisors, but everyone, and it doesn't matter where you are located in the world, you have an innate ability, and some of us may not as much as others, to overcome. Rebound for me is really important. And why do we have to rebound in the first place? Because we have challenges. Life happens every day. The learnings that you talk about is you must be able to be focused. That is one. When you have a goal, I call it a burn. What gets you going? Why do you do this business? Why do you even work somewhere else if it's not in our industry? Because you want to make money, but money is a standard for everyone. What makes the difference is, what do you want that money for? Is it for your children's education? And why I'm going around with this, to answer your question, is the learning that has taken place for me is that we burn out sometimes if we don't take our time, if we don't have that work-life balance. And so what I share with my advisors is you chunk time out in the year. So you have 52 weeks in the year, that's available. You take 40 weeks, solid weeks, and you work. And when you work, you focus. You have 6 weeks for learning and development. You have training, you get into the company, you're an advisor for the first time, you're going to boot camp, you do your own self-study, you have FSCP, which is another qualification from TIFA, our local body, that we must be certified with to be able to do financial advisory. Then you have 6 weeks that you take for vacation, downtime, you can be sick. So if you come into the business and you understand that there is compartmentalization that must happen, and you go with that, that learning for me is that you stick to your goals, you commit to yourself. When you put something in place and you're working or you're an advisor, you're in a business for yourself. You're in your business for yourself, but not by yourself, because you have comrades like you have colleagues, you have leaders, other managers that will always help you. That's where the training takes place. It's not only designed by a company, but you, just as we are sharing here and we belong to a study group, we are learning from each other, and that is the sharing. So the bottom line I'm saying is stay focused and be open to learning. If you look at my bio, almost every year I did some study. I did something. It may not have been relative particularly or directly to my profession, but I was generally learning every year, because you must grow. Otherwise, you will one day wake up and realize that you are no longer relevant to your profession. And the learning takes place when you go out and want it. It's not imposed on you. So some persons and some advisors have realized, they think, well, they join a company and, in their young years, they may not appreciate all the tools that we are giving to them. So our challenge as leaders and coaches is to get them to understand that continual development and continual learning must take place, because the world is changing. Every morning you wake up and you look at the news, something different is happening to cause effect. And it's always a challenge. Human beings by nature, we do not accept change very well. But that is a learning that you have to develop, because only when you change and you allow yourselves to change, you can grow in anything that you do.
Great. So that means learning is a continuous process, right? You do not take off that. And we've been, you rightly put it, we've been in the study group, a lot of learnings and just been applying to.
Yes.
I think the study group, everybody must try for someone to join some of the study groups, and they have to experience, they should become a contributor to the study group. They should share some ideas about their what learning about. I think that's the wonderful one. And you spoken about very good on learning is very much important, right? So that's a thing. And just coming to your Caribbean market, and how has looked this markets after COVID or before COVID? How is this situation right now? Or this your client, or what kind of product they're looking right now? So, or this advice is able to sell up easily to them actually. So what was your view on that?
Prior to COVID and even years before, we would normally offer an entire basket of solutions. So we call it solutions rather than products. We as advisors, we are charged with the responsibility to do a needs analysis. So whilst you might have 100 types of products, you do not sell or offer or recommend all of them. So the track that we would normally run on is we look at the importance of income, look at what means the best for the client. What is the best for the client? What do they want? What are their goals? Because we match our solutions to what the clients need. 9 out of 10 times, it will always be, we start with life insurance because that's income protection. That is basic. In particular, and especially for those persons who are the income earners in the family, business people. We have key person insurances, so we can probably elaborate a little bit more about that later on. But by and large, prior to COVID, we had focus on life insurance, we focused on critical illness, disability, savings and investments, health insurance as well. So that's the life part and pensions. We also have what is by law we need for motor vehicle insurance. Sometimes once you're doing a mortgage, of course, you need property insurance as well. Many clients, they may not need it by law, but they do it because it's protecting themselves. So we have a basket of products or solutions that we offer. During COVID, what we found happening is that rather than we call our clients, they were calling us more. And they wanted to ensure that their critical illness and their health insurance was intact. And they were up to date with premiums. And we had more referrals along those lines of the critical illness and health insurance than any years before. And of course, it was ignited because of the ramped up awareness that we can get sick. Guys, it is real. Also, what some persons were thinking, and even companies, insurance companies, is that pretty soon, because of lack of information about COVID and its effects, persons who may have contracted COVID, but of course survived and they're okay now, we really don't know what is going to be happening with them later on. So there is some indication in our local market that insurers are going to be looking closely at maybe even rating. And it's more important in terms of, affordability for us now, and us being able to appease the clients and offer them solutions that they may really need, because the prices may be going up. And that's something that is real. One insurer has already started doing that. So to answer your question, I see the needs are the same. It's just there is more education surrounding and awareness surrounding sickness and benefits relating. And what we've realized as well, a lot of persons who would have never wanted insurance before, they are now coming to us.
That's good, right? So any specific product they are looking right now after COVID?
Yes, health insurance, that is making sure that they have a health plan that they can cover their bills. God forbid they have to go to the doctor or they have a surgery. And as well, the critical illness coverage is really important. So in Guardian, we call that Rejuvenator, and there are 3 different types. Of course, it's tailored to the person's needs and their age and what they would probably qualify for.
Wonderful. And I just gone through that mission of dreams to create more number of MDRTs in your country. I also believe that some videos make some MDRTs, COT, TOTs, right? So on that.
Yes.
To be successful advisors, like, so, we all know that so many years we do it, but some kind of quality you need, right? This quality, this advisors matter. So mainly why I'm just asking you are into the recruitment mode and you are training, you also do training, and you are the master of finance, so what does things going to happen and the thing. This is the quality definitely you should be having, the insurance professional, and you can be a successful advisor. What was this?
I would go back. You've just taken me back to my childhood days, where again, because of my grandmother, I would have learned this. Do for others that you should want for yourself. That is a number one quality that I look for when I'm recruiting and when I'm interviewing for a new SAP. Persons who want the best for others just as they want it. If this is not present, Sakti, what is going to happen is that the advisor is going to sit there, engage a client, and the client is going to see right through them, and they're not going to close. Because sincerity and wanting the best for others is one big criteria. It goes in line with honesty. We are in a position where we are holding clients' goals in our hands. Their future is in our hands. If we sit and we do not conduct a fact find properly and get the needs out from the client as opposed to their wants, then what are we doing? We are not advisors. We are simply selling a product as though it's on a shelf and you want to sell a pack of laundry detergent and you're trying to convince somebody. That's not what our business is about. It's actually the opposite. So before we even offer a recommendation or a product, we need to sit and do a proper needs analysis. We do better engagement and we build a relationship with that client so that they can be honest and open with us. Bhupinder, sometimes we had invited him to one of our webinars, MDRT Caribbean, and then we had our MDRT Day last year in Trinidad. And he talked about offering clients solutions for their wants rather than their needs. So I would say I agree with that, but we must uncover the needs first. Based on the budget, you attend to the needs in your first meeting, your first engagement or encounter. Then you continue and you do not have a single need review. How I would recommend to my new advisor is we need to do comprehensive planning. So in your first meeting, you look at your needs, you look at your budget, you look at what we would want to put in place, but we don't put anything in place yet. On our second review, and we look at your wants. Okay, this is what you want to do in 5 years. So let's break it down. And by doing that, a client is going to love their advisor because they would realize that this advisor is taking time, it's giving patience, and really working hard to ensure that that client's future is taken care of. If that client has concerns about retirement and you go in there talking about maybe investment, but not for retirement, there's no connection. So there is in terms of a portfolio and a proper offering, you look at income protection, then you look at, if you're looking at retirement, critical illness does play a very big part because you will not want somebody to have at their later years to take their money that they will save for retirement and living a proper lifestyle or a lifestyle of their choice and then having to pay medical bills. So you look at the holistic picture and then whatever is remaining, you do investment. So there is a track that we need to run on, and advisors who come in, we teach them, we show them. Another thing is honesty. So even though you would have given somebody something that you would have taken for yourself had you been in that position, Be honest throughout the relationship. If something were to happen, go to the client and be honest. They will respect you 100 times more for delivering bad news or something is happening and let's try to fix it, rather than you allow bad things to happen to the portfolio and you would not have engaged the client. Another quality that I feel that is so a characteristic is important, and it's linked to your previous question, is coachability. You need to be open to learning. You need to be open to making mistakes. Success is built on a road and streets of failure. No one could have achieved success without failing. So when we fail, we need to be honest and we need to come out and seek the necessary help so that at the end, we learn something and the client's business remain intact.
On this, related to this one right now, nowadays, not only into the Caribbean market and the global market itself, people could not take up the rejections, or people could not able to face it for their failures.
Yeah.
No, in our business, you know, right? So you can't expect every client to come and say, yes, I'm ready to work.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of times. You need to go with a lot of failures in your life. And I recently interacted with some of the guys from Asian. I was short of some of the dollars not qualified for the MDRTs, and I would have done this one. And they just simply give some excuses on it. So you've been with so many agents, you've been creating it, you've been with your country for so many years about this financial. How to look into this? See, everybody faced the pandemic, right? Everybody faced the failures. Everybody faced the rejections. How to overcome this? That's why these people, what he has to change? It has to change the mindset. And what was your experience?
I would say the relationship that you build starts with the first phone call.
Yes.
When you're calling that client to get the appointment. Objections handling, in my mind, starts from then. If you do a proper job in engaging the client from that first phone call and listen to the script, you don't sell on the phone. You call, you get an appointment. You follow the script. You get your appointment and you walk in there. You get Shakti only one time to make a fantastic first impression. Only one time. And if you do that really, really well, then the road is paved for no objections. The relationship is building. And then you will know based on you connect with that client. So you have your icebreaker on your first meeting, whether it's online or in person. You talk commonality. You engage the person because you are setting a stage here for a client for life. This is not a quick fix. This is not something that you're going to just sell a laundry detergent, as I told you. You want to be able to have that client think about you when they think finance, they think insurance, they think motor vehicle, they think accident, everything. And how does that happen? From that very first phone call, from that very interaction when you meet them the first time, how you present yourself. And I take you back to your opening statement about me. How would you like to show up? Would you like to show up unprofessional? Would you like to show up late? What impression are you giving to the client? So objections handling start from even before you say a word about the business to that client. And once you set the stage for that client to embrace you, and they would realize that you're honest with them, you're open, you are straightforward, they ask you questions. You know, as you go along in that fact find, you can tell if you connect with that client. And you listen twice as much, or as they say, 80% in that fact find than you talk. And if you do that well, and you allow the client the confidence in you, then objections will not happen. And that has been my real life experience. I have experienced very, very far and few in between, where a client, after I've done my presentation and my second review, because you will know one very critical thing in objections handling is connecting with the personality type of the client. If you're interacting with a bold personality, please do not get them annoyed from your first question. They want to drive that meeting. You need to allow them to understand, hey, I am here to help you. And whatever I recommend, it's exactly based on what you want. If you're here and there is an analytical person like me, I am a blue. I am very detailed as an accountant. And I've continued being so in my personal life and everywhere. If you're dealing with somebody like me, you need to connect with me and understand, listen, you cannot sell me or you cannot recommend anything to me if you don't give me numbers. I need to see numbers. And if you do that before I ask you for the numbers, then I have no objection, more than likely. So implied consent is my closing style. I would connect with the client in that interview and know when I can say, okay, you sign here. Okay, if it's online. So at what email address do I send the application forms? And that's basically it.
So action. Go to the action. Yeah. That's a nice one, what you're talking about, right? The practical one. You need to be a very practical one, right? So I accept it.
Yeah.
So now coming to the main point, right? That's how you find this prospecting point, prospecting, tax finding, on what any specific clusters you focus on to do the business.
Sure. Prospecting for me, it's like breathing. You breathe. Names in our business, names for a manager in recruitment is similar to names for an advisor in prospecting. So I would have came up from being able to prospect clients, and now I have to be having one hat on for clients and then another hat I put on when I do the recruitment. Names is our inventory. And without names, there's no business. You eat, sleep, and breathe your business. You are in the grocery, you interact, you exchange information. And if you again approach persons correctly and know when to stop if they're not interested, then you develop friends anywhere you go. You strike up a conversation. When I got into this business, based on my profile, persons would expect that, oh, well, she had her market sorted out. She worked in big companies. She would have done audits in different companies. She has a market. Sakti, no, not a piece of business that I have done for the last 11 years came from any one of those natural markets. And that's something very surprising, because everybody, when you get into this business, well, you have a natural market. I realized quickly, because of the Caribbean and Trinidad and how people saw our industry, I had to do something different in prospecting. So what I did, I thought about, I can do presentations. My thrust, and in my bio, I don't think we highlighted it. It's to give back to the next generation, as well as create MDRT qualifiers. So when I was an advisor, one of the motivators was to give back. Where do I find children? Where's the next generation? It's the education fraternity. So I used to have some business as an accountant with the local body, who is the union for the education persons, the fraternity. So teachers, principals, and so they would have gone to this union. And through the union, I would have been able to give financial advisory presentations on retirement planning and whatnot. And that is exactly where I got my prospecting from. So coupled with that, when you do a fantastic job with a client, you don't need to ask for a referral. it comes. And again, you go back to that first call, and how do you show up with your client throughout the process, from the call to the close, to the contract delivery and servicing. Too many a time in our industry, we realize that servicing is not very important to our advisors. We hear the complaints from our clients. We think about only a sale and that's it. And that's the fundamentals of prospecting, Sakti. If you continue doing a good job with your client and servicing, not only when you're collecting a check, you must be there ready to serve them whenever they have a need or whenever they call, so that names will come to you very easily because they respect you, you show up professionally, and they like you.
Good. That's a very confident answer for that in prospecting, right? Yeah. Prospecting like oxygen. So without oxygen, you can't survive. Keep prospecting. And I recently gone through the MAT. You also would have gone through MAT videos where the habits change the prospecting. So prospecting the important one of professional we need to follow up. So the main few things, in our professionals, you work on that's retirement planning.
Yeah.
So how should important our professionals? I see certain countries does not promote the retirement planning, or certain countries silently they promote the retirement planning. But after COVID, I see in the Indian market a lot of people now worried about retirement planning. Mm-hmm. So I think this is one of the good market, right? People are, mainly our advisors miss that actually. So what was your direction on that?
I would say since maybe about 2015, there has been a lot of information coming to us in the economy and in Trinidad in particular about our local national insurance company. Now, this is a company whereby when you retire, you are able to get a pension, because you would have been contributing all your life as a worker. As long as you're employed, you contribute to this pool. So it's the National Insurance Board. What has been happening is because of the baby boomers era, and they have been retiring from over the last few years into now, maybe the last decade into now. And after baby boomers, the Gen X would not have wanted to make so many babies. They changed because they saw their parents doing so many things and not having the time to go to work. And both parents, you notice both parents are working now. But with baby boomers, it was the mother at home and father will go out and be income earner. What has happened over the years is that the pool of money that is going into the scheme, the national insurance scheme, it's dwindling because there are less people going to work, but more people now are taking out of the pool right now. So there is a big gap. Retirement planning for us in Trinidad has escalated to the number one, apart from your life and health. And hence the reason I said earlier that critical illness coverage is coupled into retirement planning, because if you take your savings and your pension and have to pay for big surgeries, it's not very cheap if you want to do it privately and get proper treatment. We do have the public facilities in Trinidad and in the Caribbean. However, most of us would prefer, if something is happening to us, we go private, and we need money, a lot of money to finance that. And so retirement planning for us has been something that is a hot number and on the forefront of most persons planning for maybe about 5 years. Going forward, and how I see this happening is we need, as advisors, to be even more careful when we're looking at what is required, because retirement is linked with inflation as well. We don't know. We don't have a crystal ball to know what's going to be happening to Tom Jones next 15 years when he's ready to retire. We don't. But the most that we can do is look at where he is now, look at where he would like to be, and infer certain strategies and indices to allow us to give him the best case scenario that he will be able to get maybe a comfortable income monthly by putting aside from now maybe what we've been looking at as well, not only monthly contributions. There is a time, Kashaki, you will know, in a person's life, they would have access to some amount of cash. Maybe you got a back pay, maybe you had gotten some sort of, money on accumulation. In the teaching fraternity, they get retroactive pay, so it's lump sums. Take some of that lump sum rather than you taking it and spending it out on some goal that you had, you're buying a refrigerator or some trivial thing in my mind. Take half of that and put it into a lump sum retirement planning so that you will build towards it, because you don't know what is going to be happening. And so it has been proven, not only in our industry, but in other facets by doing my reviews and doing my research, that retirement planning is becoming more and more of a concern, so much so that legacy planning is now not as very, how should I put it, often available, because it's not even enough money that is being accumulated now for the individual in their retirement, far less to leave something for their loved ones.
So the great one, the other also that just want to ask you that the retirement planning you are talking about. The other big market like business, small SMEs, business owners, like business insurance. I think could be some kind of learnings must do on the advisors, and they should not mistake that market to at least that will give you more hidden truth, more that get larger business for right also.
Yes, yes. So you get larger.
The Caribbean market about the business insurance.
Okay, so you're correct. Inherently, in the Caribbean market, global, a business client obviously has different needs, different types of needs, but it's similar to an individual because it's going concern for the business. Just like we just talked about retirement planning and being able to afford the lifestyle that we would like to have as individuals when we were to retire. We would like to see that businesses have proper succession planning. And they put things in place, they put strategies and plans and programs in place to ensure that just happen. When you approach a business client, and it's not only unique to the Caribbean or in Trinidad, it's global, that business must be dissected. You have to learn a lot. There's a bigger fact find. It's the same track, but you tailor it for bigger premiums because businesses have larger risks and larger exposure. You have key person insurance. That's the first thing we look at, apart from all the mandatory insurances that they need to have. Those mandatory insurances would be vehicle insurance, building insurance. They would have workman's compensation, public liability. It's across the board. But what makes an advisor or separates the advisor is when the advisor can ask the salient questions of a business owner to get exactly where he's driving his business to. Not very many business persons will meet you, Sakti, and sit and just tell you everything that they wanted to do with their business. Again, the fundamentals of relationship building. So yes, we have larger premiums with business clients. However, by way of key person insurance, we do life, we do critical illness, we put some savings in there. Because what is very important with these types of insurances is that the banks will accept these policies cash value to allow the business extra facilities to grow. So they might have an overdraft facility that they want security for. The key person insurance, and that's how important our advisors need to be educated. You ask about how important learning is in this industry, and this is the critical part. The more you learn and the more you engage your clients is the better you are able to protect them and the better you are able to help yourself because the income is going to be more. So closing off on this point, a businessman is a little bit different from a normal person. Building trust and confidence with that businessman is very important. Looking and having the ability, like myself, to look at a financial statement and know what is happening and know how to apply our solutions to that person's business. What he's seeing and what the financials are saying may not be very well seen. But I'll tell you one thing with my experience with business persons. They don't even need to see that financials. They have a pulse of their business. So you have to be very careful. Even as me, I am a chartered accountant. I would look at the information and I would say, okay, the gearing ratio is XYZ, the liquidity is so. But when you sit and have that conversation with that client, he very well knows that he's making a lot of money, but he doesn't see the cash. He will know. And so my new persons that are coming into the team, I always have what I do as a new advisor training program. An entire area, we block 2 hours out and we have only training on business insurance. You're on mute. I'm not hearing you.
So that's what I just want to just tell you, that we've been the biggest market on business insurance. Sometimes the advisors would miss it out. That's what I put it on your side. So it not only in the Indian market, not only in the US market and Caribbean market. I think everywhere this business is now based on there, a lot of people are struggling, right? So they can able to.
Correct.
The advisors have proper knowledge to the volumes of business will increase for them actually.
Yes.
Area where they can talk. So the next is a bigger question. I'm just coming to you. That's what we are from here, right?
I'm with it. I'm ready. I'm willing.
We are MDRT, and we've been with MDRT for so many years. What was the passion into that? A lot of MDRTs, and come and talk about that. So did MDRT helps in your professionals, and how you feel yourself?
I am so happy that you would ask that question. In fact, Sakti, when I joined the industry, I didn't know about MDRT in most of my first year. And would you believe, I qualified for MDRT in my first year and I did not know really what I did. And I was sitting, I remember this clearly. It was for awards, we had a rehearsal because I joined in 2011, that was my first year. And then in 2012, early, I was sitting, waiting for this rehearsal. And you may know Greg Mannett, and he is in our company as well. And he came and sat next to me. I didn't know who this gentleman is, but he's a good looking fellow, you know, he's talking. And he said, so I realized you qualified for MDRT. I said, MDRT? And he said, yes, and you qualified, you cannot not go. There is an annual meeting, and he started to explain the vibe and what happens on the annual meeting. And I said, well, and this is like maybe a month before the March. We were in March, so June. So it was a couple months to go. And he said, listen, we're going to do everything to get you there. I really didn't know what this guy was talking about until Sakti. Remember I told you guys that I was in debt. So that would have been one of my drivers to get in. And here it is, I was a CFO working hard. And you know, before this business, I wanted to get in my own business, but I wasn't making the kind of money that I would wanted. So when I made the first year in this business and I realized the income, then I realized, wait, my income goals are automatically solved if I qualify for MDRT. I qualify for Diamond Club, all my convention, I qualify for everything in the industry when I did just this, and I didn't even know. Everything sealed when I attended. That was my first MDRT in Anaheim. My mind was blown. And what I love the most, and why do I continue qualifying year in, year out, and I have to? That's my goal on the 1st of January every year, because I have developed such profound, beautiful relationships, like the one you and I have here, Sakti, for inviting me to share today, and with our global study group. And we are all MDRT people are the creme de la creme. I'm not saying this because we qualify and we have big production. I am saying this because our heart equals that production. And it helps me to understand what life is. When we have those annual meetings as well, and they sort of present as the main platform, you cannot pay for those nuggets. You go to MDRT 1 year, one annual meeting, you are certain to get a nugget to come back and take your business to the next level. And that is what MDRT has done for me year in, year out. Every year I get a friend. Maybe I get 2, maybe I get 3. But the profound thing for me, and the salient thing about MDRT, as I mentioned before, is work-life balance, that whole person concept. It not only teaches you practice management, it doesn't teach you only tools that you need in your business that you get everywhere else. The connection zone. I look forward to go to the connection zone. I look forward to the resources as a member that you are engaging in. You have so much more tools, so many more articles that you can read. You have the round table. And as a whole, MDRT has taught me how to live. Not only with my business. It has taught me to be a good mother. It has taught me to be a good wife. And it has taught me to be a very good leader. So I'm linking why I like leadership, because it allows you to unleash and to harness your innate abilities and grow year in, year out.
So proud to be MDRT, Naik, proud to be MDRT.
Yes.
So I remember my first qualified, and when it was 2010 actually. So after completion in 2010, you get the certificate letter right from that.
Yeah.
So some of the insurance guys were dropping into my home, and they dropped the. So I just looked like this one. What is this MDRT? So what's this? I kept the certificate in 2010. You don't believe it. First 4 years, I never given so important to that, and 2014, I realized this is something is there behind this. So people talk about the traveling to US and a lot of people, and then I got a little bit of what is this? Let's go and enjoy it. Let's meet up. Then now I'm feeling for that first 4 or 5 years I've not done the registration, right? So I would have been crossed several years right now, but it has changed. It has changed. After 2014, I've been attending my first conference and getting a lot of friends, right? That's very important. People think that MDRT meeting, it's about learning, correct? But more than a learning, you gain a lot of friendships, different countries, and you can gain a lot of experience into that. That's what the idea. And you rightly put how you showed as a leadership role, and you'll be proud on your own nations in. You being highlighted for several women want to develop their profession. You be one of the icon for them, right?
Correct.
You all should be very proud on that. Being MDRTs, and we're discussing port, and we are just still talking about other people's growth. That's what it's about MDRT. And I'm just proud of you being a woman to taking up your country the next level. Thank you so much. And you've been with the same company, right? You've been in the same company for several years, I think. What was it? Do you get a lot of referrals with them, or any leaderships? You just feel it up. So why it is so important you have been with the same company?
I think that goes back as well to a fundamental belief that I grew up with. When something is not broken, don't try to fix it.
Yeah.
And we used to have fights. I remember my IT supervisor, and I was the accountant in that in corporate. And we would sit, and sometimes we don't agree. Accountants and IT, they don't see eye to eye. But then I realized, wait, what is this guy talking about? He taught me that. If it's not broken, don't fix it. So they would get annoyed with us because we might see something is wrong with the system and we will go try to fix it, but we should be calling them. And then I started to apply that to real life and to what the substance of what he was saying. And I realized, Sakti, that consistency and perseverance maybe is what he was talking about. Sit, look at it, make sure that you need to change and then change. Yes, he didn't say not to change because he wants to call the right person. So then if you don't have the solution on your own, then you have to get some learning and advice. So as I pondered with this sort of strategy that he would have used with us, I said, to be good at anything, you need to stick with it. There would be hurdles. So I found myself, my first very job, I stayed for 15.5 years. Now, many persons will not do that. They would say, you need to grow. But Sakti, I joined that company very, very young, first job, as an accounts clerk. And I left the company as the first financial controller. So I didn't stay stuck. I educated myself, I worked, I studied, I had a family. And so persevering and being very settled was not a combination I thought was happening, but that is what happened. So when you stay in a company, you give yourself the best opportunities over the years. Had I moved from one to the next, I may not have realized my capabilities in growing over those years. And the reason I stayed particularly in that company is because in accounting, you want to know manufacturing accounts. And this was a steel mill. So it was giving me everything that I needed. So if something is working and you're seeing growth in that company, then there is no need to leave at that point in time. I'm not saying not to leave because I eventually left. And when I left, so I'm answering your question from my background. When I left, I realized I had reached a stage in my career where I just needed to get into the energy sector, because in Trinidad and in the Caribbean, that is like the pinnacle of your career in any industry. And then I ended up in TSL engineering, which is the career I needed to cap off and go into my own business. So staying so long in Guardian life for me is not anything unusual. It just means to me that Guardian has been giving me all the opportunities throughout those 11 years that I needed to grow, because it's a company that really looks after its clients, its employees, and the advisors. And so I have been able to settle and build a foundation from many years ago, and now build on that foundation because I was able to stay in a company that is stable. Now, your real question was referrals, right? That's the answer. When you are in a company for many years, clients realize that that company is doing something right. Otherwise, nobody will stay in a company that they're uncomfortable with. And when you do that very good job that I talked about earlier, clients bring referrals to you. I have not really been asking for referrals, but I can guarantee you I've got many. And if I knew, in a case with a new advisor, Sakti, I will always tell them, I have a track record in terms of doing referral talks. So I will share with them that the referrals you need to ask. But how do you ask for referral? You don't ask for referral. You infer it and they will give it to you. So if you develop a relationship with a client, so much so that they have done business with you, you are almost there that they can recommend or refer you to somebody. But the approach is very important. You might deliver a contract today, Sakti, but that person just needed a mortgage and they needed a life insurance. You may not be able to ask for that referral on that first day of delivering the contract. You have to give that relationship build, because they may say, but no, I don't really know you, and let me see how this thing goes, because all I needed was a life insurance policy. But the client who you would have sat with, as I said, and did a comprehensive needs analysis, you are already plotting your way towards getting more business, and the client is going to offer you the names rather than you ask for the names.
Good one. And at present, what kind of products do you recommend to your clients? And have you already spoken, right? But still, do you have any specific? This is what I want to promote this year for them.
Yeah, I think that in this market, based on where we are in the Caribbean and in Trinidad, a lot of persons, aside from the retirement planning that we talked about, we have annuities, the conventional annuities for retirement planning. We have the critical illness, which is going to take care of their sickness. However, I have done quite a lot of work outside of the usual insurance products. I love the investment market. I just love it because there's a lot of money out there and it's sitting in banks and it's doing absolutely nothing for a client. Absolutely. In fact, charges are coming out and clients are dissatisfied. So every client, as long as they have put in place their basic plans and they have coverages, we now look at savings different from investment. You want to save towards a vacation, that's an investor and it goes on your policy. But you want to do some really strict investment, that takes it at a whole different level. You need to understand the client's risk level. Are they risk savvy? Are they risk averse? So I conduct a profiler and I ensure I know exactly how they feel about risk. And then I know what sort of plans that we want to put in place. So that part of it, if you look at my bio, we would have won GAM award 2 years in a row. Yeah. And Guardian Asset Management is the investment arm of Guardian Holdings Limited. And so we've been able to capture a market within that market, within the country and the Caribbean, where their money is working for them. They're very happy. They have all the insurance products they need. And they now coupled with having real comfort, and they live easy knowing that we are managing their wealth as well. So that's one of the areas that I have added to the conventional products that we have in our basket to offer.
So that's how we work right now into Caribbean market. Wonderful.
Yeah.
So, any thankful message to your clients in the Caribbean market?
I would like to thank my clients for being them. Even if we interpret some of you as harassing, they might call 100 times. Like last night, I am in bed and I am getting a call at 11:15 p.m. I did not answer, but I started to message because you have boundaries. There must be boundaries. But again, that was an investment client and she's worried about her money and what's going on in the market. And I actually would have sent her a message earlier to guide her and to move funds. And the message I would have is that each and every one of my clients, no matter how big, how small, how medium, I love them. I enjoy working with them. And each one of them would have taught me something because it helps me to get better at what I do with feedback. And so my clientele has grown remarkably over the years. And so much so that sometimes I feel I don't give the personalized service and I'm putting things in place. You know, you have a business, you treat it like a business now. But one thing, Sakti, a client's birthday will never come and I miss it. I will always keep that touch with them no matter what is happening because I've learned something. Some persons have nobody And if you pick up that phone or you send that message, it will bring a smile on their client's face, just like Dave brings smiles on my face. So it's a really mutually beneficial relationship. And I am here for my clients, every one of them. And I want them to grow and really, really achieve all their life goals. And I'm here for them every step of the way.
So I believe that your clients have a wonderful leader, wonderful.
Yeah.
And your country ad, I mean, I hope you get a lot of intros and successful in your profession.
Yes.
And before heading to my last questions, I'm just putting it that, can you recommend one habit that the new advisors at the global firms so want to use it in a profession? Do you regularly use habits, you use the habits?
Yeah.
Successful on that.
When you talk habit, they say that a habit is developed in 21 days. So, for instance, the law of attraction. I am a strong believer. Some persons, and I do respect everyone's belief. Most of us may believe in Heavenly Father. There is a supreme being, and we always start our life, end our day with praises and thanks. But there is another section that may not believe in that, but believe that the world and the universe will send things their way based on their actions. It's the same thing, karma, in our words, we might say. And seeds that you plant is what will grow. My grandmother used to say, how you lay your bed is how you will sleep. So if you leave rushing out on mornings and you don't tidy your bed, when you come back in the evening, you'll have to sleep on an untidy bed. And that could answer your question. So a young advisor, what would I really want them to understand? Developing a habit of committing to themselves. Commit to yourself. You came into the business today, you signed on the dotted line, and you had an income goal. Every day for the next 21 days, revisit that income goal. Every time you fail and you feel you got a no, go back to their burn. Why did you get into this business? The habit of renewing that goal every day is going to build such a foundation that they will eat, sleep, and breathe MDRT like me, because that's my goal.
Perfect. And your visions are very clear. So I should appreciate for that. And the final questions I'm putting right now here, which is, what was your goal of the year? And can you recommend can you advise us to the woman advisors? You already spoken about that. So woman advisors, what was the woman advisors you want to give to them around the world?
So I'll answer the second part first.
Yeah.
So for a woman advisor, Sakti, I'm going to be real here, very real. We are at a disadvantage in the world. Not only in this industry, it's just a fact. We have to make babies. We have to stay home for 9 months or 8 months, however it goes. We lose time. We see after the little ones. And we work. And we have goals. And we have careers. So you might be working, but you're going to school, you're studying, because you have a career that you want to embark in. A word of advice to my female companions and comrades, colleagues. Always remember, to whom much is given, much is expected. So you start in the game knowing that you have to do more. That's just how it is. And the sooner you accept that, you know it already. The sooner you accept the fact that you need to compartmentalize even more than a meal, even more than your husband, even more than your manager, who might be a male or colleague, quickly get that mindset that, listen, if it is to be, it is up to me. I have to make it work. I have to look at my week, and we are better planners than males. Let's give that a fact. We can balance things. We say we multitask. We don't multitask. Not even a computer can multitask. We just do things at the same time and plan and whatever. And just as we do laundry and we cook and we do everything at the same time, we need to learn to extend ourselves with that and embrace the fact that we need to be better planners, although we are inherently better planners. So what has worked for me is when I put a goal for this week, I stick to it. And if I fall down, I do twice that the next week, because the kids still have to be fed. You still have the client is waiting to see you, and you still have your husband that needs to be fed as well, though some of you guys help us. So in a nutshell, our job is to stay calm, focus, and revisit. Why do we want to do what we are doing? The burn. And that will propel you. When you look at your kids, you will understand you want a better education for your kid. So you need to sacrifice. And so when you're feeling down and you feel you can't do it anymore, take a break. But don't take too long a break, because time is going and money is there to be made. So that's the second part of your question. And the last part is my goal is a goal that I always embrace. And Sakti, you've been nudging me along with these goals for this year. Yeah. And I want to commit. I want to commit to what you've been encouraging. And that is one of the things that I talked about with MDRT and MDRT quality people. We help each other and we push each other. So we talk TOT. I have a team of advisors as well. And for each one of them, I want to help them make MDRT. So that would be my goal for this year. And it's only when you eat it, you sleep, you breathe, then it's going to happen. Yeah. So I need to walk my talk. So Sakti, thank you very much for helping me to understand that it can be done and it will be done. I'm so looking forward.
Wonderful. That's supposed to be a circle. No, you have not completed your top of the table like people. So I believe that the leaders or the heroes, until you don't complete certain things in your profession, you could not. You likely put it like we could not sleep properly because it hit us again and again.
Yes.
All of my friends who've been part of these programs or been part of MDRT, my wish is for them to be top of the table. So crack the MDRT, crack the COT, crack the top of the table. That's how we need to walk forward. And I think soon the pandemic ends and we all fly back to see each other. I think hope business also back with all the countries. Hope we do better business. It was wonderful interview with Kali, and there's something which some people will talk, will listen. Some people will talk, we observe. Some people will talk, we smile. But today, I don't know, something like it's always give goosebumps inside to learning more from you. To be this clearly show in your talks about leadership quality. I lead this my country. I lead the membership. I lead these people. I want all my team members to qualify. I believe that that's how the programs needed. Watching the people will understand. Somewhere you are sitting in Caribbean, somewhere I'm sitting in India, but we talk about others. Getting qualified and to give back to society. I tell you that when the egos goes, we develop ourselves. The motivation bar, we are giving back to the society. Members who are taking it out, they give back to the society. So it was wonderful talking to you, and I learned a lot of things. I think most of them would have learned from you. And wishing you good health, good support to your team. Looking forward to see you in Boston or Sydney, whichever you are traveling. I'm happy to see you back. And it's valuable taking your time to given a presentation to my ILNC. Thank you so much, Lali.
Thank you, Sakti, for having me here. You're doing a tremendously great job. You are touching lives, exactly what we are meant to do in this business. And I want to congratulate you. I'm taking the opportunity to congratulate you on all that you've done before, all that you're doing now. And I know you're not going to stop.
Yeah.
So God bless you. God bless you. God bless your efforts. And to my wider viewership, God bless each and every one of you. And if we have said anything today to help you to take your business to the next level, we feel we've done a good job. So thank you again.
Perfect. Perfect. Thank you, Gali. You put a right point to that. Thank you so much, friends. And thank you, Gali, for joining today. Have a wonderful day. And we look forward to see one more Heroes in upcoming days and with a fresh, energetic, we look forward and see you back. Have a wonderful day. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you all.